Hello, this is Dave, and welcome to Equity Story. Just having a look at the ASX 200, and obviously we had a good day on the 200. It was up 0.52% and bounced off pretty nicely off that trend line. Um, and you can see on that daily chart again, sort of generally speaking, holding those sort of short-term happy lines. Obviously, a lot of this has to do with the banks, and some of the the Origin Energies and the QBs, which are having a little bit of a run at the moment. Um, but I think the smaller cap indexes, they generally tell a sort of a different story. Um, and I'll just have a look at some of those with you just pretty quickly. You can see, for example, uh, the emerging companies index, and you can see it's quite a good one to look at, and you can see how this really started coming off in sort of July, August, and certainly definitely just at the beginning of October started trending down. Now, the sort of companies that you get in the emerging companies index are things like Raw Funds, which is one of ours, and EML Payments and ASG Group. These are sort of Hub is in there, Silver Lake Resources, Class 1, to give you an idea. And as you can see, a lot of these stocks have been sold off really strongly over the last sort of 2 months. What you're looking for now in the smaller cap sector, I think, is a little bit of support now after we've had this sell-off, and certainly you can see that as well on the. Let's try and find this one. There you go. Small odds. These are, companies in the small odds. To give you an example, would be companies like Oz Minerals, Evolution would be there, Macquarie Atlas, so Main Pharma, and you can see again, this big sell-off that it's obviously that's had from again around sort of August time, and in some ways a little bit more aggressive than even the emerging companies index. But what you are hoping for now, you can see the 200 here. It bounced off the 200 before, and you're definitely hoping these sort of smaller micro cap companies, these mid cap companies, start now getting a little bit of support around here. Um, I think it's quite interesting actually if I squash this chart up and just show you a little bit. You can see often how the 200 can act as basically support or resistance, and here's really since say 2011, and you can see a few times. There's one time there, arguably 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times it's tried to go for that 200. It didn't do it. Eventually it did, and you can see obviously these sort of companies started having a really decent trend. Well, sort of what you got to look at these sort of charts at the moment. You are hoping that what has been resistance, this 200 for so long, starts acting as a little bit of support, and we're looking at these sort of charts, and that's, I think, what we'd like to do. If I can start seeing these sort of small odds start turning up, it definitely it starts giving you a little bit more confidence. Some of these sort of great 3-year growth stories will really start moving again, get a bit of market sentiment behind them, and certainly some of those ones that we sold would be obviously give us more confidence to say get back into the story. And again, it was really good actually today. I had a few phone calls, and one of them was Dave, thanks mate. I did buy some Caterpillar. I listened to what you said on the video last night, and we were saying last night on the video that we thought something like Caterpillar might go down to 250, and if it does, buy a little bit. If it goes lower, maybe get a little bit more. And this member did actually just start tucking in around 250, and then it's great to see the stock bounce back pretty quickly. So maybe that 250 is going to act as a bit of support, but we're still watching and waiting. So Caterpillar catapult, and certainly I think that idea with catapults really stands firm. If it goes around that 250, or maybe get a little bit more. If it goes lower to $2, you can certainly get a little bit more. So I think obviously the market's starting to see some pretty good value in the stock. As with VTG, again, we said very similar the other day on the video. We think it could go down to these levels a little bit lower. It did that, and then had that really nice bounce up. So I think if it starts moving, certainly I'm not happy yet to put VTG on as a 3-year growth story again. But I think if it starts going back down here to these levels, certainly just to dip in and dip your toes in the stock, it certainly wouldn't do any harm. And just generally speaking, I think it's good to see a lot of actually the 3-year growth stories doing reasonably well today, and obviously having a good percentage of green on the board. Often I like to go for the 3-year growth stories and try and pick, some of them that are looking sort of pretty good. Certainly, I think IGO on that trend is looking fine, and again sort of come down, done what it does. Just seems to nip below that sort of happy line occasionally, IGO, and had that nice move up today, which I think is obviously pretty bullish. What I would like to do is congratulate all the members of Equity Story. We put KSL on obviously last night. This is a company, obviously, with PE of 8 and a dividend of 9. It's a finance company in Papua New Guinea, owns part of a bank. We think it's an exciting story, and we think potentially it's got some good growth in it over the next few years. And I'd just like to congratulate all the members, because I think everyone's been pretty sensible. I spoke to a lot of members that Dave, I like it. I'm just going to get into it in a few weeks when if there's just when the market calms down, as those sort of Christmas sellers start coming in, and maybe these stocks which are lightly traded, there's often you can buy them on sort of down days, and I think we got a lot of people in today just under sort of that 107 mark, and hopefully everyone can just gradually sort of ease into the stock. And how great to have a stock giving a dividend of 9% with growth. I think it's a really exciting story, Kina Securities. Just having a look at quickly the trends. Obviously ALQ, just in case you didn't know, it did pay a dividend the other day, and the trend's looking fine. As did Aristocrat, looking good, and paid a dividend the other day. I think so did FPH as well. So some of those trends have given us a bit of a dividend, which is a nice little bonus. And generally speaking, the others good to see sort of a little bit of green. Obviously Bellamy's, which was a complete disaster what that company did, and put out that obviously ridiculous announcement, and but we're watching it. Like I said, I think it's going to come lower, and this is going to present us an absolutely fantastic buying opportunity. What I'd like to say, I had a phone call today, just someone asking Dave, listen, I'm just looking for some a quick term trend, and I'd just like to say the market's sort of moving in a funny way on those ASX 200 stocks, and I'll give you an example. I'll just go to, I've got another page with all the 300 just to go through, and you can just have a look. I mean, a lot of the ones that sort of, has had sort of good day today, his API, generally speaking, okay, it was up 2% today, but, I certainly, I wouldn't sort of rave about that chart. Just have a look at some more, give you some ideas more or less what I'm talking about. Look at something that's had a good move, like BBT. That doesn't look too bad. Again, a little bit narrow on that candle, but here you go. Sort of there you go, CVO. And although there was a green, it's a lot of rubbish. A lot of these sort of stocks just sort of, I don't know, I call them sort of recovery stocks, and people sort of just trying to pick a bottom, or maybe trying to think there's a bit of value there. You look at EHE up 11%. I mean, God, would you want to be in that? It looks absolutely terrible. Certainly just looks absolutely awful. And what else had a good move today? GBT was up 2%. Looks having a little bit of resistance. It just doesn't look interesting at all. It looks absolutely looks really awful. Henderson Group had a move up. So the market's definitely very funny at the moment. I mean, a lot of the stocks that seem to be having a bit of a move, and giving the index a little bit of a bounce, you just wouldn't want to be in them. You wouldn't want to be trending them. Just going back to one of the pages I like to use, I've got a few of the stocks on. We still, although they're not really moving up with the sort of conviction we want, we're still much happier in these. And I need to sort of put these companies up. We're still much happier in these type of companies, these general trends, even if they get sold off a little bit. We're much happier in them. We feel much more confident that they're going to, things like ALQ, we're just a lot more confident in these type of companies. And although the ones that do seem to be having a real push up, the profit takers come in pretty quick, and that's just part of the market at the moment. Um, However, I did have a client today phone me up and said, David, just interested in diving into some stuff that I think, what you think will trend up. And there's slightly different sort of trending philosophy buying things like for me at the moment, sort of QB. I'm not crazy about the story fundamentally, which we like to be at Equity Story, but certainly if you're gonna buy QB, and as long as you had a type stop loss on it, it looks fine. And generally speaking, what you want to do, you want to see stocks. I'll show you this. You want to see these stocks go up. If QB came back down to $10, then moves up again, I'd be a lot more happier sort of trending it. At the moment, it's just having a pump up. So you could get into QB and have a sort of look at it. Maybe price target is sort of 12.32, and really just cut it if it broke. Put a 2% stop loss on it or something. Again, with Origin Energy, that looks a lot better. It's got quite a bit of blue sky, actually, up to 8.34. Again, I sort of get a little bit nervous about buying these straight runs up because it's harder to get the feeling and how they're moving. And again, the sort of short-term chart, maybe it just needs to come down a little bit and just run a little bit too hard. But certainly, these sort of companies, an S32, again, these look like really good trends. But certainly, if you're going to buy these, put a really tight stop loss on them, maybe sort of just about 2%. But certainly, they look pretty bullish. But again, we're sort of, we're a little bit nervous of them just simply because, these stocks will move completely, well, not completely, but largely on obviously how oil is moving. One stock that does actually look quite good is, I think, AWC. Arguably got a little bit of resistance there, but I'm looking at that short-term chart, and today had a nice move up. It looks maybe if it had a nice sort of move up, about 174, settled a bit higher, certainly could have a decent move up and maybe sort of retest 180 or even $2 if things got good. But I think the market is a little bit really difficult at the moment. It's quite difficult to trend. So I do apologise. We're not sort of seeing too much action there from Equity Story. From that point of view, we're just happy to hold the ones we've got, and it's just our system and the way we prefer to trend. That's all I've got to talk about tonight on Equity Story. I hope you have a good night, and I look forward to bringing you this report tomorrow. Thank you. Good night.